The International Maritime Organization's sulfur cap on marine fuels will come into effect in 2020, and switching to low sulfur fuel options will increase fuel consumption by 1.4 times. The capital investment of fitting the exhaust cleaning system scrubber on large bulk carriers will be 1 billion Japanese yen, which will require 3 years to recover the expenses. The capital investment of remodeling it into a LNG engine will require 20 billion yen. Remodeling it is near impossible. Sosei Water, which can solve the problem of fuel consumption as well as high sulfur fuel oil, is gaining attention. Verification and validation has been done. There is also evidence to prove this. Sosei Water will become a competitor to be used as marine fuel. I am the one who invented the water called Sosei Water. There is evidence that there is atomic hydrogen residing in this water, and the structure is kept that way for use. Using that water as the basis, we succeeded in developing a water that has increased atoms and is stabilized, called H1.
Can you believe it? When you burn 100% diesel in a burner, the flame's highest temperature is 700 degrees. However, if you mix 30% Sosei Fuel Water with it, the flame's highest temperature went over 1300 degrees. This means that by mixing 30% of Sosei Fuel Water, the amount of diesel will be reduced to 70%. Why does the calorific value increase despite the amount of fuel being reduced to 70%? This functional water holds a unique structure called H3O2-, which increases the efficiency of the combustion rate and the calorific value due to the energy originally contained in the water being released under the heat. After measuring the combustion properties in accordance with JIS K2279, it was measured that the mixture of Sosei Fuel Water and oil gave as much as 64% of the calorific value of base oil. This phenomenon can also be applied to any internal combustion engine. Therefore, fuel can be reduced and at the same time power can be increased by adapting this to engines. Furthermore, by reducing the fuel, the amount of exhaust fumes emitting can be significantly reduced, and the amount of emissions such as CO2, SOx and NOx can be reduced by up to 80% with the power of Sosei Fuel Water. This is a test to show Sosei Fuel Water being used to run diesel power generator. Sosei Fuel Water is drinking water that has no additives in it. It contains a large amount of atomic hydrogen due to the unique ion used. After Sosei Fuel Water is created, it goes through this clear tube to be sent to the mixing module. The fuel and Sosei Fuel Water is then immersed together in the T section to be sent through the mixing module, also called F module, and eventually to the engine. Fuel can be reduced by 44.88% with the use of Sosei Fuel Water. It can also reduce NOx. Running a car using a mixture of gasoline and Sosei Fuel Water. This is a flow meter that combines Sosei Fuel Water with gasoline. This rear view mirror shows Sosei Fuel Water being pumped into the pipes from the engine bay. This is the Sosei Fuel Water mixing module in the engine bay. This is how Sosei Fuel Water is pumped in the engine bay. This is the process of the Sosei Fuel Water supply module in the trunk. This Sosei Fuel Water system for cars can be easily installed at repair shops for 40,000 Japanese yen.
A test was also run on a gasoline engine. This is a footage of the experiment in its initial stage. There is a variation in the flow, but gasoline and Sosei Fuel Water is supplied alternately as the fuel in the mixing unit. We want you to pay attention to how the engine runs in a stable manner without variation. By mixing Sosei Fuel Water in the engine, it can be run in the same manner with an engine with 100% gasoline. We will show you the evaluation report we received from Professor Aritomi when he came to Nagano to inspect these experiments. The content of the technology evaluation is as follows. He was able to confirm that Sosei Fuel Water burned in the gasoline engine experiment. Also, technique is required to achieve unified mixing of gasoline such as crude oil and diesel. Return oil is homogenized in diesel engine, and he mentions it is promising how fuel consumption and CO2 is reduced. He also notes that return oil transformed from milky white to a transparent state with time, and verifying the fuel consumption and optimum mixing ratio in this state is necessary. Data collection of the rotary engine is being conducted here. Sosei Fuel Water and gasoline mixing system is attached to the oiling system, but the engine and pipes are left as it is. Now, let's see its performance. This is the solenoid valve, and if I turn this switch on, the amount that was preset will be sent through. I will turn on this switch and start the injection.